And there we go. We are live. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my fellow comic book collectors. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, We Love Comics. And today, I have, as you can see in the image before you, my first Grail comic of 2019. I actually got it a couple of days ago, but I've just been really busy. As a matter of fact, I have a couple of comics I've gotten, and just haven't had the chance to make the videos yet. Part 3 of my top 60 ungraded comics of 2018 should be coming out about Tuesday. Those of you who've been watching the videos know one of our stray cats, Luna, had some problems. We had to take it to the vet. I just wanted to give everybody an update that she is doing fine. It's just a minor infection that they said medication should fix. So I want to thank everybody that gave their blessings and well-wishings and everything. That is definitely appreciated. And I already see we have a bunch of people here, so before I start, let me just give a shout out to all those who get here early. So Gorilla Grod, welcome. Chris, good to see you. Florence, always a pleasure. Nomos, James, Steven, Comic Lover Omega, Joe Richardson, Man Bear Pig, love that, especially if you're a South Park fan, you know who that is. Unruly Simeon, Don is here. Welcome. Adam, Jerry, Manny the Comic Collector, Timothy Harris, Travis, welcome. Always good to see you. Harvey, Roger B. So thank you all for showing up. Already 30 people, and I just started this. So let me put on my camera so you can see. And not only is this an unboxing. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to show that one of the packages that somebody sent me when I did that fan mail art, it's now hanging up on the wall proudly like I promised. So thank you for that. And if anybody ever wants to send anything, there is an address in the description all the way down at the bottom. This is actually my... that's good. I drop it and probably broke it. That'd be good. But this is actually my third of this Grail comic. And I got this for a really good price. And I'll tell you something. This is the time to buy this book. Because, well, I'll explain it afterwards. But I'm going to show you. This is actually a CGC graded book. And I'm going to get this regraded because the grade that they gave it, and we're going to go over it here live so you can make the decision yourself and let me know if you think I'm on track on this. They did a really good job. Look at this. They actually put a bunch of rolled newspapers for support. So that is a great job of packaging this and something that people could learn about. Because, you know, if you can't afford all the bubble wrap or don't have any, rolled up newspaper like that will give some great support. So this is a CGC book, and I bought this not only for the price, but I know if I get this regraded, it's going to have a higher grade than what CGC graded this. Because, you know, like I've said in the past, CGC is the #1 grading company. I'm not going to dispute that, even if I get, you know, sponsored, quote-unquote, because I don't get paid by PGX. CGC is #1. But one thing I've noticed, and I've said this repeatedly, and again, I'll let you be the judge of this, is CGC totally undergrades, especially Silver Age books. So I'm not going to just say it and have you take my word for it. I'm going to show you the book. Of course, I'm going to tell you the price. And then we're going to go over it because I go based on the CBCS guidelines, which most people will agree that CBCS is the most strictest when it comes to grading. So they have a guideline on their website, and I'll show it live really quick when I'm ready to go. But it's cbcscomics.com/grades. And they give their listing of what categorizes under what grading system. And we're going to go over it, and you let me know if you think this grade is wrong. So this is definitely going to get regraded. And let me show the back first. So you can see this is going to be a lower grade book. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you know, it's a 9.8 or anything. But you can see there's a little piece that's folded up here. So that's a bad job of them not putting this back down. But the only major problem with this book is there. You see, from here down is missing. So it's not a coupon or anything. It's just, I don't know what happened there. Maybe there was tape or maybe just somebody accidentally ripped it. But that's not even a quarter of the back, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, I'm not going to show the grade at first. I'm going to show you the book and then show you the price. And then you tell me what you think this grade would be. and we'll go from there. So here is my third copy of Daredevil #1. Now, the one thing I can tell you is it is a little faded, but that should not make the grade very low. So I'm going to point out some defects. So the cover is detached. Okay, so keep that in mind. So the highest grade this could get, even if it was perfect with a detached cover, would be a 3.0. But you can see that the cover, I mean, there's some color breaks right there. Let me see if I can put the light a little closer. Okay, so there's no major tears. There's no pieces missing. You can see there's some color breaks along the Daredevil. The spine looks pretty decent. I mean, it's always hard to see with the camera, but there is right here a little bit of, right there, you can see there's a little bit of a tear, but nothing major. On the back, you can see right here, yep, hold on, the microphone's about to fall. You can see there's a little bit of staining, but again, nothing major. So I paid for this book a total of $400, well, $410. So you can see the bottom. I mean, it's nice and flat. You don't see all chipping. I'll show you along the edge. You can see again, there's no chipping. There's a little bit there. But overall, you can see how straight it is. The pages are cream to off-white, so it's not brittle or anything. So there's a long color break increase diagonally. But as you can see, it's barely visible. All right, so everybody's saying this is about a 1.5 to a 2.0. Now, of course, without seeing inside, but if everybody goes by the reputation of CGC, you know, if they do no wrong, then there should be nothing really majorly wrong inside, because as you can see here, it does mention that the cover is detached, but it doesn't say any missing pages or missing coupons or anything like that. So if we go based on the fact that CGC does no wrong, then the pages inside shouldn't be too bad. All right, so I agree that this should be about a 1.8 to about a 2.5 range. This is the grade CGC gave this. CGC thinks that this is a 0.5. Now, we're not going to just base it on opinion. We're going to go, like I said, according to the CBCS website. So I'm going to show it to you first. We're going to go over the descriptions, and you tell me if you believe that I would get a higher grade if I got this submitted. I'm going to send it to PGX. Okay, so you can see right now I'm going to go to the website. So again, as you can see, this is cbcscomics.com. So let's go down to the 0.5. Okay? So according to CBCS's website, a 0.5 comic says it has major defects to the point that it has no collector value. Copies in this grade typically will have pages, or the front cover or back cover may be missing, which you can see it does not have the front or back cover missing. They may have several stains or heavy cover abrasions to the point where the cover ink is gone. So this is faded, but it's not like, you know, somebody scratched it to the point where you can't even see the colors anymore. It says heavy defacing with paints, varnishes, glues, oils, markers, dyes, etc., and inside pages have extreme brittleness. Okay, so let's go back to the camera really quick before we get to that again. All right, so give me a second. Okay, so according to that, does that look like what a 0.5 describes? Okay, so again, I'm going to go over what CBCS says. Okay, copies in this grade typically have will have pages and or the front or the back cover missing. As you can see, the front cover is not missing. The back cover is not missing. Okay, it says it may have severe stains or heavy cover abrasions. It has 2 little stains right there. Okay, heavy defacing with paints, varnishes, glues, oils, markers, dyes. Does not have any of that. And the inside pages can have extreme brittleness. If it was brittle, it would say brittle right here. So it does not have any of that. All right, so let's go to the next level, where it is a 1.5 to a 1.0. Okay, so they say, this book has seen much better days and tends to be heavily worn and tatered. Now, like I said, this is faded a little bit, but does that look heavily worn? I mean, you could read every single thing. I mean, look at the words right here. It's not like you cannot read them. Look at the words. You can read them. So just because the cover's faded a little bit does not mean that categorizes for that. Okay? It says, a book in this condition is worn, ragged, and unattractive. Well, does this look ragged? Does it look unattractive? Not at all. Heavy creases and folds are prevalent. It does have, color breaking creases, but nothing major. Paper quality can be very low. We already discussed that. The spine or cover may be completely split, what this is not. Staples may be missing, which they aren't. Coupons cut, they are not. Parts of the front cover may be missing. There is nothing from the front cover missing. Soiling, staining, tears, markings, or chunks missing will interfere with reading. That's not the case. Again, brittleness is not the case, and there's no tape. So this is going to be higher than a 1.0 or a 1.5. So let's go to the next range, which is 1.8 to 3.0. So like, inside paper quality might not be good, and pieces of the pages may be missing. Okay, so there's no pieces missing on any of the pages except for the back. Books in this grade are almost creased, scuffed, abraded, and soiled, but readable. Okay, that qualifies here. You can see there's some creasing, there's some scuffing, there's some color breaks, but it's definitely readable. Okay, large pieces can be missing from the cover. So this is the back part of the cover. This would absolutely be considered, not a majorly large piece, but let's assume large piece can be missing from the cover. Now that's assuming the front cover. So this is the back. Long or many spine splits are possible, which this doesn't have. The cover may be detached, but not missing and still in collectible grade. So the cover is detached, but again, it's not missing, and it's still in collectible grade. I mean, no one would look at this and say, oh my God, it's a horrible piece of garbage. And it talks about tape, which it does not have, and the book may be fragile. So I'm telling you right now, there is no way, according to CBCS, that this should be a 0.5. This would probably be a 1.8 to a 2.0, which means my $410 purchase, even at a 0.5, is worth it, because a 0.5 is worth about $500 to $550. So I am going to be taking this out of the slab, and I will be sending this in to PGX to get graded, because this is why it pays to research about getting your comics graded and knowing about what constitutes a specific grade. I'm sorry, but this is not a 0.5. And many of you, when you saw this, said it looked between like what I described in the CBCS website, that this is about a 1.8 to maybe a 2.0. 2.0 might be pushing it, but I'd be happy with a 1.5 to a 1.8. But this is definitely, and again, I'll show the back. So the only major defect is this right here is missing. And Johnny Future, that's nice of you. I want to make sure if anybody ever does this, Johnny Future just did a $5 super chat. So thank you for that. If you ever do a super chat, just write something, because especially if you have a website, I want to promote it. Seller Source Pro says, seems harder to grade very low and high grade books. Yes. So like I said, see, I'm not trying to bash GGC. They are the #1 grading company. But like any business in the world, they can make mistakes. So they graded this a 0.5. When I saw the pictures on eBay, I said to myself, There is no way this is a 0.5. Is it the most beautiful book you've ever seen? Absolutely not. But the front cover is completely attached. There's no tape. There's no major stains other than these two little kind of burn marks here. The cover is detached, but there's no anything missing because, like I said, CGC, according to some, say they do no wrong, so the inside must be good enough for them not to mention any missing coupons. So they definitely undergraded this book. I will be getting it graded, and I want to make sure I did this unboxing live so you could see for yourself when I went over it. And even Seller Sauce Pro says, I think based on the cover and the back, it should be a 1.5 to 1.8. Yes, and Big Blind Cat says, label said covers detached. Yes, you can have up to a 3.0. Let's go again to for the CBCS. The category of 1.8 to a 3.0. The cover and pages may be detached, but not missing. So just because the cover is detached does not warrant it an automatic 0.5. You can get up to a 3.0 with a detached cover. So a 1.5 to a 1.8, maybe a 2.0, is more realistic for this grade considering what I went over than a 0.5. So this book is absolutely going to be taken out. It will be regraded, and I can pretty much guarantee you this will not come back a 0.5. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. CGC is the #1 grading company, but I've seen on many occasions when it comes to lower grade books, they totally, not all the time, but they totally end up undergrading Silver Age books, especially Silver Age keys. So it is what it is. But you know what? The good thing is, this is why I tell people to do research. Because when I saw this on eBay, and I saw the grade, and I saw if they had pictures of both the front and back and gave a good description, I said, there's no way this is a 0.5. I'm getting it regraded. So I paid below a 0.5 price because I paid a total of 100, I wish. I paid a total of $410 because $10 was shipping and handling. And that was it was a newly listed book. They had this where they listed it for $300 or buy it now for $400. Now, considering I knew what the value of this book was, there was no way I was going to take a chance and try and message that person to get a lower price, because as soon as somebody made a lower bid of $300, the best offer is gone. So as soon as I saw that, I said, that's a great price. I studied it. I knew what the value was. I made the grab and purchased it right away. So this was listed for about 10 seconds before I bought it, because you got to be quick. So Huffhouse Art says, is there a certain technique in taking a comic out of its shell? Yeah, you basically just spread it apart and break it very carefully, and then cut it with a scissor, because this is plastic in here. You just got to be careful with it, but it's not going to be a problem. There's one website, there's one channel that says super easy, barely an inconvenience. Let's see who knows what site that's all about. But yeah, so I wanted to show this. So this is my first Grail of 2019, 0.5 Daredevil #1. And, oh, this is nice. I want to mention this again. And good, you wrote something. Timothy Harris, he gave an $8 super chat, so thank you for that. And anytime anybody does a super chat, I want to make sure I read their note right away. So he says, if any preservation techniques would improve this comic and not be considered restoration, would you consider it? The only things that are not considered restoration are pressings and dry cleanings. It doesn't need a pressing. It actually looks like it was already pressed. So really it wouldn't need a pressing because it's nice and flat. It doesn't have any kind of dirt that would really warrant a dry cleaning either, because these stains, a dry cleaning is not going to get out. So, I mean, if this had some kind of benefit, I mean, I do pressings. I tell people all the time, get your books pressed, because it can increase it sometimes up to a whole grade, if not a grade and a half. I've seen it even with CGC. So, ETC Gaming says, CGC and CBCS grade different. Breaking a CGC into a PGX is a waste of time and money. Well, you have that right to have that opinion. I have a deal with PGX where you guys, if you send 10 books in, you can get a free pressing on one of your books. I get them in for a discount. So a lot of people say things like, oh, PGX, it's a waste of time. That's according to your opinion, and you have that right. Well, I'll tell you this much. If I ever sell the book, if I have a PGX 1.8, it's going to sell higher than a CGC 0.5. So what do I have to lose? It's going to cost me shipping to send this to PGX to get graded and get a more accurate grade. So, I mean, there are people that have a lot of bias against PGX. A lot of it is misinformation that they've heard based on rumors, especially when it comes to that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle video that was taken down. So, Johnny Future says, Chris, I was trying to include a message, but YouTube kept giving me an error message. Yeah, that's YouTube for you. He says, it finally accepted when I took the message out. I don't know why it won't let me make my message with it. I don't know. YouTube is just stupid sometimes. So if you want to make a message, Johnny, let me know and I'll read it. Ryan says, PGX says, Chris, you mentioned upcoming PGX news at one point, I think. Is that right? Yeah, I'm just waiting for them. They said they had a lot of stuff during the new year. So as soon as I get the information, I will relay it to all of you. So like I said, I don't get my books to turn around and flip them and sell them. As you can see by, like, for example, my top books of 2018, I still have them all. I can show you my top 2017, my top 2016, my top 2015. I've sold a total of like 8 books in the past 30 years. So I grade them to preserve them. But I also want accurate grades. I'm sorry. You can love CGC and you have the right to do it. And I don't hate CGC. But there is no way this is a 0.5. And if you go by most people, they agree that CBCS is the strictest when it comes to grading. And according to their website, this should be a 1.5 to a 1.8, and many people agree. So let me read what Johnny Future says, because he said YouTube, he tried to do the super chat, and YouTube wouldn't allow it. Johnny Future says, wanted to thank you for your channel, and I have used many of your ideas and methods in my purchases. Here's the 2019. And I'm glad to hear that, so thank you for that. I appreciate that. So yes, and Seller Source Pro says it well and perfect. It is a human element. Grading is subjective. Every company gets things right. Every company gets things wrong. Anybody that tells you any one company is always going to get everything right and one other company is going to get everything wrong is being 100% biased, and they're not being fair to their subscribers. I will point out the good and bad. So I'm not going to resend this to CGC because they'll probably give it the same low grade. I'm going to send it to another company, and you have the right to not like it. And Timothy Harris says, I don't think PGX will always sell for less. And I agree with that. It depends on the book. You know, if you have an Amazing Fantasy 15, a PGX book is not going to sell for $80. I'm sorry. There are some people that just want to hate a company and want to rise another company above the level of them doing no wrong. So does that mean I hate CGC? No. It just means this warrants my research and conclusions that CGC can often undergrade lower grade books. They're not as good as they should be when it comes to lower grades. So if you're just tuning in, when this processes, watch the video. I did a whole description of what it takes for each particular grade. I showed this book front and back with descriptions before I revealed the grade, and everybody agreed that this was about a 1.0 to a 2.0 range. And they were pretty shocked when they saw a 0.5. The only major problem with this book is the cover is detached. And there's a piece missing on the back cover. It's not a quarter of the book. It's not taking away from it. It's faded a little bit, but I've seen covers at a 5.0 with faded covers. So this is definitely undergraded. I paid a total of $410. I'm not going to pay anything to PGX other than the shipping to get it graded, regraded, so I have nothing to lose. And because I'm not one of those people that turns around to flip books, I will be holding on to it for a very long time and maybe even use it as a trade deal. So again, like Jethro says, that book is about a 1.8. I totally agree. I'm not trying to say this is a 4 or a 5 or a 9. I'm just trying to say it's realistically, it's about a 1.8, and pretty much everybody agrees. So what does that tell you? That tells you that even the mighty CGC can make mistakes. And when it comes to people who do want to sell their books, when they undervalue your grade, you could sit there and say CGC does no wrong, but you just now lost, because I'm going to go right now to gocollect.com. So let's just assume somebody regraded this with CGC and they actually regraded it properly. So let's assume we're all right, and let's assume it comes back a 1.8. So let's go to gocollect.com, and we're going to go over the value of what you would lose if you were going to sell this book. And let's just assume you sell it exactly for what that particular grade is worth. So according to GoCollect as of now, a 0.5 is worth $575. So I already automatically paid $410. So even if I got this graded at with PGX, and let's say it came back a 1.0, are you telling me I'm going to sell this for less than $575? It's not going to happen. A Daredevil #1, I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. So let's assume you bought this as a CGC, or let's say this was your book. You sent it into CGC, it came back as 0.5. It's valued at $575. Everybody, including myself, is saying that this looks like about a 1.8. Well, a 1.8 is worth about $800. So you lost $225 based on the fact that this book was undergraded. So you got to factor in a lot of things here. I love CGC, I love CBCS, and yes, I love PGX. I don't hate any company, but the bashers out there that say PGX gets everything wrong, and the people that say that CGC does everything right, well, you guys draw your own conclusions. I'm not here to say that companies don't get things wrong and companies don't make mistakes, because they do. But if I want to be honest with my subscribers, I cannot have company bias. And that's why when I even said to PGX, when we made this little deal, that I said that I have no obligation to say nothing but praise of your company. We are under no signed contract. I will not sign a contract with a company that obligates me to be misinforming to my clients and my viewers. And I told them, it's like, listen, if we do this agreement and if I see something wrong, I'm going to say something. And I've done it on many occasions. I even took my Moon Knight, my first appearance of Moon Knight, that I felt they overgraded, and I cracked it open live on video. So I'm not afraid to say the good and the bad of all companies. But people are so afraid to say anything about CGC. All that does is it hurts the consumer because you're not being honest. So ETC Gaming says, our last Daredevils #1 CGC 3.5 sold for over $1,300. Very nice. So you can have a difference of opinion. You could like whoever you want. If you want to thumb down this video, I mean, not for nothing, I'm going to have that anyway. Big Lion Cat says, and he's saying this in all capitals, so he seems to be very mad at me, says, I have the right to pick what you want, but you can't say something bad about something you never use. Well, if you watch my videos, I have several CGC books that I have graded. As a matter of fact, back in 2015, CGC was the only company I have graded. I've graded over 75 books with CGC. So Big Lion, unfortunately, you're not right here. I've used all three grading companies. I've used CGC, CBCS, and PGX. I have several grades from different companies. So I have absolutely the right to say something because I have used them. So unfortunately... Oh, and he says, no, you people out there. Well, that's the thing. A lot of people base information not on their own research, not on their own information, but what they hear other people do. That's how it's easy to spread lies and misinformation. And that's why you even see all the time where many people talk about, fake news. It's because they call it fake news because people are actually starting to research things on their own. The problem is there are some people that make a lot of money selling books, and they don't want to say anything bad about it because they would rather have the money in their pocket than the morality it takes to maybe end up losing some value. Because like I said, I got a graded book that I thought was was going to come back a 3.0, and that was the first Moon Knight. It came back either a 6.0 or a 6.5. Now, how much more money could I have sold that book for? I could have instantly said, wow, this is a 3.0 book. I got a 6.0. That's twice of what I thought it would be. Let me turn around and sell this so I could sucker somebody and pocket the money. That's what most people do. What I did was I cracked it open and took that loss because it's a thing called integrity. So I lost out a lot of money on that. But to me, it's being truthful that is more important. So I'm sorry. This is a mistake. That doesn't mean CGC is trash. It doesn't mean that CGC is not number one. It just means they got this wrong. And that's okay. So if somebody wants to hate me for pointing that out because they want to love CGC to the point where they do no wrong, then you're not helping businesses become better at treating their customers right. If you just let a company get away with anything because you have a bias against them, then they're not going to stretch out and go the extra mile to give you quality, to give you the best fair prices, to give you better competition. You're only hurting yourself in the long run. So again, let's just show the book, and then I'm going to do today's surprise subscriber shout out. This is a Daredevil number 1 CGC, a quote-unquote 0.5, which I will be grading. I will be taking out and getting regraded. And I paid a total of $410, which includes shipping and handling. With the fact that Netflix canceled Daredevil, this is absolutely a book you want to get now because you'll probably see prices drop a little bit. But Marvel has already said that they have plans for Daredevil. It's just they can't do it for at least another 2 years because they did a contract with Netflix that even if Netflix canceled, they can't do anything for 2 years. Whether it stays that way, who knows? I mean, like I said, when you have Disney's money, you could do a lot of different things. But that just means, let's just assume that the 2 years it does go into effect. That means most people are going to stay away from Daredevil and the prices will drop. That's when you have buying opportunities. So get them where you can. So Timothy Harris says, who are, quote unquote, you people? Rational, objective people can express opinions without being disrespectful. It's our job to give companies constructive criticism and not negative based on emotion. I agree. I don't name any names, but there are YouTube channels where they will only say positive things about CGC, and I've seen channels that will do nothing but trash PGX. It's just not the way to do things. There's good and bad with every company. There is no company on the planet that has not made a mistake, and there is no company on the planet that's still in business that has done everything wrong. So Big Lion Cat says, I never say something bad about something I've never used. Well, I mean, not for nothing, you're allowed to have an opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is not bashing. It's just constructive criticism and going over what was just wrong. It doesn't mean they're bad. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there that take negativity as such a bad thing. You know, not for nothing, when I first became a massage therapist, I used to work with other massage therapists, and we'd kind of work on each other with the techniques, because in school you have to work on each other to actually get practice. And when I graduated and I was licensed and I worked with these people afterwards, I said to them, I want to know what I did wrong. So to me, I didn't care about what I did right, because what I did right, I don't need to improve. But to me, if somebody tells me what I did wrong or what I can do better, well, I can improve that and make my job better. But these days, people are so overly sensitive that you can't say anything. And how do you learn from your mistakes if no one's willing to point them out? So again, with CGC, this is not a 0.5. Am I a professional grader? No. But I'm basing it on the guidelines that CBCS based it on. And this isn't even a 1.0 or a 1.5 based on their notes on what they require to grade. So I'm going to get this regraded. Whether you like it or not, that's fine. But it's my book, and I could do whatever I want with it, just like what you could do with yours. But because I care about my integrity and I care about my subscribers, I'm going to point out the good and bad from all companies. Any channel that will never say anything bad about a company, or at least point out an inconsistency, or will bash another company 100% and not give them any credit, those people are being very biased, and they are not going to benefit you. Whether you have all CGC, all PGX, or all CBCS, even if it lowers the value of your book, We need some integrity. Otherwise, we're misleading people, and that's not what we want. So this video is getting long enough. Let me give the surprise subscriber shout out. I want to thank everybody, and I will read your comments. I want to thank the people that did the super chats. I always appreciate people going the extra mile with that. So today we're going to do, because he made some good statements, we're going to go with Seller Source Pro, and he does have a comic book website. So from now on, if I give you the surprise subscriber shout out and you have a YouTube channel, you have my permission to post the link in this very video when it uploads. So hopefully you saw that, and I want to thank everybody. You have your own opinion. The Papa John says, what do the greatest notes say? I haven't checked. I will check it. But again, anything, like if there was a coupon cut, first of all, this would be a green label, qualified. Or it would go down to a 0.5 and they would write it here in the description. The only thing it says is covers detached. So according to CGC, there should be no coupons cut. So that won't lower the grade to that point. So thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate everybody taking the time to comment. Whether you agree or not, that is up to you. Comicholics channel says, great video. Thank you very much. You have a great channel as well. Go see them. Johnny Future says, do they still charge $5 for greatest notes, Chris? That's a good question. I think as of now, I believe they still do, but somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. So, yeah, so I'm not willing to pay the $5 for greatest notes because I basically pretty much know what it says. So I'm just going to get it shown. I'm going to get it regraded. I wanted to show it live so you could see there's no doctoring, nothing like that. And really quick, Bob World was nice enough to leave a $2 super chat, so thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I'm glad everybody saw this live. They made their opinions saying it's about a 1.0 to a 2.0. Let's see, because next month when I send it, I'm going to get it graded, and I promise you it'll probably come back a 1.8 to a 2.0, and that is the correct grade. So, again, CGC, does not mean they're not the number one company, because they are, but it shows that they actually can make mistakes. If that makes you mad, then you might love CGC a little too much to the point where you're not being fair. So thanks for watching, everybody. ETC Gaming says, do not re-slab that, keep it raw. Well, ETC, I appreciate your opinion, but I like them slabbed because it protects them. It's much safer to have them in these plastic cases than it is in a regular bag and board where it could bend. It's going to protect it more for water damage and other things. It'll keep the bugs out. So ETC Gaming, if you own this book, you would not grade it and you would take it out, that's fine. But I just don't agree, and that's okay. People are allowed to disagree. And Jethro Borderline says, let's go 1.8 PGX. I'd be happy with that. Johnny Future says, 4 thumbs down, geez. 4 thumbs down so far. I have about 7 stalkers, or realistically, it's probably like 2 people with several different accounts. Let them thumb it down. If people don't like somebody giving an honest and fair opinion, and they're just going to thumb it down just because they think it annoys me, let them do it. Those are sad, pathetic people that are the ones that would take advantage of people and mislead them. If those are the channels you would like to watch, that's fine. But I promise you this, none of those 4 people that thumbed it down so far would ever be man enough, because I know who some of them are. There's a way to find out. I'm not going to mention any names, but I promise you I know who they are. But I promise you none of them are man enough to actually state right here in the live chat why they gave it a thumbs down. So, I mean, anonymous people that have the right to do it because, you know, they have too much free time on their hands, let them. That's okay. That just means I'm getting under their skin for basing things based on truth and your own information. I made an opinion. I shared it with you. You can agree or disagree. I don't tell you how to think. As a matter of fact, I tell you, make sure you do your own research. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you appreciate what I try and do with this channel. If you want to show those negative Nancys how to really show the appreciation for what I do, if you guys want to give it a thumbs up, that's what I care about, because the thumbs up tell me you appreciate what I do. The thumbs down are the ones that are just saying they don't like me. Okay, some strangers that I'll never meet who have very sad and negative lives are telling me they don't like me. I don't know how I'll survive. So thank you very much, guys. Love you all. Have a great day. Hit subscribe if you haven't. Like I said, the part 3 of the top 60 books will be coming out. probably on Tuesday because I have to get all the books together. I want to at least put something else out. Hit subscribe if you haven't. And don't forget, it's not you, it's not I, it's We Love Comics. Thank you so much for my real subscribers that took the time to be here and show the real support. You guys are why I do this. Have a great night, everybody.